Another day, another United story. You know what? If it wasn't the things we've seen from Ineos and other people before, we'd think it's fictional, man. And we've got a lot more to discuss. So yeah, roll that VT.
The guy that turns up on your party, dropping the hit, coming Haraami, coming the scene like a tsunami. I know you calling me.
Afsar, brother. How you doing, you girl?
All good, bro. Like you said, another day, another Man United story.
Yeah, we read this one and it was just
International breaks are never quiet.
Well, yeah, when you got Manchester United around, they need a Man United story. It's almost like this story they had up their sleeves and just waiting for the internationals to make a couple of days go by. So what's the story? Laurie Whitwell, the Athletic. So it's none of this making up stories. Well sourced.
Very reliable in terms of Man United, I'd say.
Well sourced. You know what I mean? And he's come up with a story whereby the youngsters, the academy team, had to wear the opposition team's kit because they didn't have enough of their own kit, and that was playing at Manchester United as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we went to Everton's ground or wherever Everton play and we forgot some of our stuff. It was the case that when they rocked up, they found out they didn't have enough kit, so they had to borrow Everton. So they had to wear Everton crest on their badges playing against Everton.
Yeah. There's also that story about when they were somewhere in Europe and they had to go to a local shop.
That's the ladies team.
Oh,
so what happened with the ladies team? They left. So they were going to play against the team. Forget the team in the Champions League. They forgot some of the boots, so they had to go and buy 15 pair of boots, 20 pair of shin pads. Do you know what I mean? Now, we've heard stories in the past whereby an odd player or two might forget something, and somebody's going to go and get their boots. You've heard of Paul Scholes when Fergie convinced him to come out of retirement.
And he had no boots.
Finished, so he went to wherever it was, Sports Direct or whatever, go and grab a pair of night boots. And and the rest is history. Won the league that season. But I think that happening with the ladies team, this happening with the under 18, the under 13s were, but not just that. It's like this is what a snippet of it is. It's saying the cost-cutting policies has had consequences, particularly regarding the academy building. There've been complaints about the lack of maintenance staff, with unclean toilets, unemptied bins, and a field littered with debris. Everyone wearing the club's tracksuit, including the academy coaches and first-team analysts, but not the players or Amorim and his coaches, must now wash their own equipment. And like we said, the staff shortages, they had to borrow stuff from Everton. So
I said this in the, let me just get this out. I said this in the group earlier. It's how you create classism. Like, it's almost like Amorim, his coaches, and the men's team are the upper class, the 1%. And then I don't even think there is a middle class at Man United. It just seems like upper class is Amorim and the men's, and then everyone else is working class, lower class.
It's a whole, and we've discussed it a number of times, haven't we? The whole segregation, particularly when we said the canteen staff, some do get food for free, or it's just soup and bread, or the rest of the first team players.
Soup and bread. What is this, World War II?
So it makes me laugh so much when we say the manager or the players can't create the culture. They're like, no, that's what they do. That's what managers come in to do. They create no, they don't, you dickhead. Do you know what I mean? It comes from the top. So these are the things that we're finding out about, like, bins and borrowing the Everton kits and, all these other things, even with the ladies team. So they've got that undue care on the most important aspect of a football club, which is fucking the players, whichever level it is. What do you think they're doing elsewhere? Now, let me just say this as well. We're not just talking about players, okay, under 18s, under 13s, or whatever have you, ladies team. We're talking about Manchester United. This club is built on its youth. So again, you know, that was under the Busby Babe. Then we kind of went away from it. Then that's what made Fergie, the Fergie fledglings, brought that back. And that was the kind of thing, the proud history that we've got that goes a number of decades. How we've always got youth academy players, you know, in our squad. This is what this club is built on. So when we talk about the heart and soul being taken out of this club, this is the kind of things that we're talking about. Do you know what I mean? But like as I said, just play a care. Just I get it, it's a mistake. Nobody obviously tried to do it, but that's what happens when you cut so much that people have been overloaded with their own work.
Yeah, or you get to match day and you realize, oh wait, that was such and such's job, but he got made redundant. Do you know what I mean? And no one then delegated his job role.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you may have been, but it's an autopilot and they just do things. And you know, whoever made those errors, probably no fault of their own, they're going to get a ticking off, and they'll be like, "Fuck me, you don't even pay me enough to do all this. Before I wasn't even doing this, a year ago. Now I'm doing all this extra work. You know, it's so
money.
Yeah, it's these kind of things, and not only just forgetting the kit, they've also forgot about the bloody under 18s and under 21s where to house the players as well.
Yeah, they're now in porter cabins.
Porter cabins. It's almost like I think one of the buildings in the back that they'd built whilst all the refurbishment was happening, they were going to knock it down and put it away. But then now decided to leave it there to house the under 21s and under 18. I almost think it's like by design they've done that. It just even they can't be.
But the previous design of Carrington had the senior players on one level and the unders on another level.
Yeah.
So they were all in one building. Obviously, they would cross paths. They would talk, some of the young kids might come up to some of the senior pros and say, look, give me some advice. So, just little basic things like that are now being taken away. And I mean, you've been to Punjab with us. You've been to the Steve Cook Stadium. I think they took inspiration from them boys and Chippy. That Man United are now setting up porter cabins everywhere.
No, look, even them boys, they don't. Yeah, even them boys not doing it out of will. They have to do what they have to do, and even them boys have got. I think they got the main pitch, then they got the other pitches on the side where they use and the
4 pitches.
The girls' team do play, so that cross path will happen. So they do get inspiration, and they will see the first team, and they can get a put way to the first team. But yeah, it's just
I've been sat at Punjab where we're all sat around a table. Someone says, "Oh, Chip, I've not got enough socks." He goes, right, okay. How many you got? I've got 8. I need 7 more. He'll count them out on the table. We're right, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, I get Man United's a much bigger club, but these are basics. Like, that's essentially a work uniform for these players, right? So what's going on? What's gone so wrong that this has now come out in this way?
Look, I think we've just been talking about it. There's so much cost cutting going on. So people who are meant to do these jobs aren't doing the job, but they're cutting corners. When you're the best and you're trying to get back to the best, you can't cut corners. Do you know what I mean? It's amateurish. We've talked about that band, the bald head Teflon Dave, about marginal gains. Well, where's the marginal gains here? This isn't marginal gains. This is obviously the total opposite. Do you know what I mean? And rather than being marginal, they're the opposite.
Drastic decline.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you want to call it is. So, and this is what I'm trying to say. So even fans, when they're talking about fucking, oh, it's a manager, bring the new manager in, you can't just keep putting it on the owners. Look, if you just want another manager better than Ruben Amorim, that's fine. That will happen. Ruben Amorim isn't obviously fit enough to be a Manchester United manager, but all he's going to do is going to get you maximum. The next manager is probably 10th, 8th. If we're lucky, 6th. If we're really lucky, we'll get a Champions League, so we might get to hear that music again. Do you know what I mean? On the odd occasion, but we're not going to sustainably do anything. But the problem is they'll get them to that stages, and the fans will just keep chanting the manager's name. I'm all for chanting the manager's name, like we said last time. Chant the manager's name, chant the player's name, but berate the owners. Now, hopefully, these kind of things will make people see, but it won't. It won't. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it hasn't up until now. When the funny thing is, we saw a picture over the weekend of OGC Nice travelled to, I want to say Monaco, which is their local derby.
Yeah.
And I think, was it 12,000 fans? Or
I
something like
think
that, boycotted the game.
Yeah, I think what
Nice
happened with
fans
that,
boycotted the game or something.
Yeah, I think what happened there, I think Monaco did cut their allocation down or something of that nature. But what they did was they just revolted and then just said, well, fuck it, we're not going. You know what I mean? We won't go to the games. So, I don't think, obviously, OGC Nice is obviously massively, you get a lot of supporters in anyway each week. I don't think they fill out the stadium, but, the Ultras made a decision. But yeah, at least they took a stand on something. Our lot, do you know what I mean? Especially at home, I just don't get what they, I don't get why they're
supporting. You get shouted at for not going to games.
Look, I mean, it's almost like obviously I get it. It's a drug to these people. They got to go and watch the team. It's their weekend. It's everything they do. It's all they know, and I get it, and I totally get it. But surely, part of that is it's keeping the values. Forget winning each week. The values of the club is being stripped away.
Bro, we're not even winning. That's the thing. We're not even winning each week.
But like I said, you could say, winning is the be all and end all for someone, glory hunter, and I could see that argument as well. You should be supporting your team in the time of difficulty, which I 100% agree. Yeah. But like I said, I'm not supporting the team, and as much as I don't think Ruben Amorim is the man, I won't keep crashing it on him. Although I will do a lot of the time. More than most to have other managers because it's just been that bad. And again, we go back to that's because he speaks so much and he speaks so much about his tribe. But
and that
it's
jumps into what Simon Jordan said.
Yeah, which we'll come on to in a second. But like I said, with these fans, it's just looking Rooney said it, they're stripping the heart and soul of your club. You don't even need ex-players to say it. We can see it in front of our own eyes. And then this latest article just goes on to compound how they're treating our players and just like I said, not even cleaning the toilets. Because they've got no staff, and this is meant to be the best in class.
Yeah, when Ronaldo did the Piers Morgan interview, and he said that there was loads of things like the loose tiles in the swimming pool, something about chips and ketchup. I can't remember what that comment was, or was that Zlatan that said that?
I'm sure it was Rio, wasn't it, back in the day when he said?
Rio, yes. Zlatan was he got a drink and he got billed for it on his wage slip.
His wage slip, yeah.
But like. Everything that they've said about the Glazers, it's still here. I mean, it's arguably worse because cleaning a toilet is basic hygiene.
Yeah, and
someone to run around with one of them litter picker thing is a 2-second job.
But they got the hygiene part covered, haven't they, man? They got the petrochemical, they got the and gel.
Just spray some hand sanitizer everywhere, it'll be fine.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's that. But you mentioned Ruben Amorim and the I think TalkSport where you got Jim White and Simon Jordan.
Manu Pal.
What was that? Sorry,
Manu Pal.
Yeah, I think he was talking about he talks too much. I think things that we've said as well. And one of the reasons that we get frustrated with Ruben Amorim, he fucking talks too much. The latest thing that he talked about was how the players listen to the media, how they get into the head of how when you're talking about the tactics, the system, it doesn't bother him, but it goes in their players' head. And I'm thinking, Ruben, the motherfucker you do? Shouldn't you be in the players' head? You know what I mean? Shouldn't you be the only one that's
the funny thing is it's his tactic and his system, but it doesn't bother him.
Do you know what I mean? And they're listening to you guys and speaking this, that, the other. I was thinking, what the hell is this guy on? Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, you just guys chat show and shit. But again, I think another thing that he's highlighted, it was Simon Jordan about Jim Ratcliffe. I mean, what was he saying on Ratcliffe?
I can't quote it exactly, so I'm going to paraphrase. Anyone can watch the clip. It's on TalkSport's Twitter account. But he basically said something like Jim Ratcliffe is, he's a very intelligent businessman, which, we can't deny. He's a billionaire, right? Ineos cash worries, whatever. They're a $100 billion a year business. They'll find a way around it. But it was something like Jim Ratcliffe's a very intelligent man, but in terms of football, he's come and put himself in a position at Manchester United whereby he's basically put himself in between the Glazers and the fan base, which is, we've said it since day one, he's basically the shield. He's deflecting for them. And then he also said that he's taken all the flack, which, yeah, again, a lot of it public in the press at least is being aimed at Jim Ratcliffe. Fan base seem to think otherwise and think he's a flipping saint, but
yeah, not all, but obviously a lot of them, you know, they'll still back their man. And yeah, like you said, he goes on to say Simon Jordan, what he knows about fucking football, you can put it on a post-it note. I think even that was fucking being polite. It's more like a fucking stamp, on the back of a stamp, one-sided. That's all he fucking knows about football, because Nice is 12th.
First class or second class?
You know, mate, it would definitely, whichever the cheapest, the bronze one. I think there's another one even under the second, so it don't cost too much. You know, it's like, oh, do you see Nice is 12th, Man United what 10th? We're 10th now. Last time I checked, Lausanne were from 12 teams, they were 11th. You know, it just doesn't paint a pretty picture for Ineos. And there's other stories that we've seen that, you know, they're closing plants down. I think there's a couple that in Germany, I think they've closed down. They're struggling to raise funds in other places. Look, the quicker you know, again, I'll praise the Glazers in terms of if they get put an end to this shit show, just go out and find some proper buyers. You know what I mean? Who want to take over the club, who want to employ staff to actually clean the toilets, you can get socks and tops for their teams. You know, irrespective,
they get like washed in-house.
Yeah, you know, they haven't got to go out and get their staff to, well, the players.
Isn't there a thing by the UK government as well? If you have to wash your own uniform, you can claim something back from your employer.
Mate, I think they're saying that to them so they can claim it back.
Or is it the employer that claims it back?
But I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Like I said,
I know there's something like that.
Claim it back from them. Yeah, look, it's just a fucking shit show, man. Like I said, I'll praise the Glazers if they just decide to leave and end this fucking bullshit. Like I said, the way Ineos are carrying on stringing Amorim along, because we all know that day is going to come when they cut ties with him. I think Glazers are doing exactly the same with Ineos, man. So look, man, just cut those ties. But yeah, I think we'll leave it at that there. No doubt there'll be another story of Man United coming very soon. Again, people, like, subscribe, share it, give us your thoughts on the current runnings of Manchester United in this cost cutting at the club as well, man. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you soon.
The guy that turns up on your body, dropping the hit, got me shut up.